Hi, this is Sarah Becktel, Artist Educator for Strathmore. In this video, we'll be looking at different paper surfaces for working in graphite. First, we have Strathmore's 400 series medium surface drawing paper. This paper comes in both 80-pound, seen on the left, and a heavier 100-pound version seen on the right. These papers are acid-free and a lovely cream color. Both papers have the exact same medium textured surface. The only difference between them is the thickness of the paper. Here I have a sheet of the heavyweight version. The medium texture has tiny bumps that feel soft under my fingertips. I think of this paper's surface as being like a microscopic mountain range. As I shade, the peaks of those mountains slowly wear down the point of my pencil, trapping the graphite in all the cracks and valleys of the mountain range. So to achieve dark, even tones on this surface, it's helpful to shade from multiple directions. This ensures that the graphite is hitting all the high spots of the texture and getting into all the low spots. This paper's texture is suitable for many layers of graphite, so you can build up dark values very easily. Another medium textured option is Strathmore's 400 series Bristol vellum. This Bristol is 2-ply, acid-free, and has a bright white color. I find the vellum finish to be slightly more textured than the medium surface we just looked at, but it is still in the range of texture that works very well for graphite shading. Similar to the drawing paper, this Bristol allows for many layers of graphite and a building up of dark values. Next, we have Strathmore's 400 series smooth surface drawing paper. This paper is 80-pound, acid-free, cream-colored, and it has a smoother finish than the medium surface drawing paper. While this paper does have a slight texture, it's not as apparent as the peaks and valleys of the medium finish. This means that you can achieve an even layer of shading very quickly, often in just 1 or 2 passes rather than the multi-directional layers that I used on the medium surface papers. However, because this paper has less texture, it can't hold as much graphite on the surface. This makes it more difficult to build up dark values on this paper. I used the same 2B pencil on both the smooth and medium surface papers, but as you can see, the pencils look lighter on the smooth finish. To achieve the same effect on the smooth surface that I created on the medium surface, I need to use a softer, darker pencil. Here I'm applying 6B graphite to get a darker value. Another smooth surface option is Strathmore's 400 series Bristol Smooth. This Bristol is 2-ply, acid-free, and has a bright white color. I find that the smooth Bristol is slightly more textured than the smooth surface drawing paper. So this smooth Bristol is actually a great middle ground. It's not as textured as the medium surface drawing, but it's not as flat as the smooth surface drawing. It allows me to easily achieve even shading, but it still has enough texture to build up darker values. Here you can see all 4 of the papers I discussed. On each of these papers, I shaded a sphere using a 2B pencil. The spheres on the medium surface drawing and the vellum surface Bristol have a similar rich, soft look that was achieved by building up layers of graphite on the textured surfaces. The spheres done on the smooth surface drawing and the smooth surface Bristol have even, uniform shading and crisp edges, characteristics that are easily achieved when working on smooth papers. So the same pencil gave me different results depending on what surface I was working on. To show you a more extreme version of these differences, I've added a plate finish paper and a cold press paper to the mix. On the far left is the plate finish paper. These papers have little to no surface texture and feel slick to the touch. My sphere has very smooth shading, but without any texture to the paper, I wasn't able to layer as much graphite. So the resulting drawing is relatively light in value. On the right end is a cold press watercolor paper. These papers are heavily textured, which is great for achieving mottled luminous watercolor effects. But when I shaded my graphite sphere, the deep texture of this paper made it very difficult to achieve even shading. So it was much harder to control my edges and the gradation of my values. We looked at 5 different papers that all work well with graphite. As we saw, the distinct textures of each paper result in graphite drawings that look very different. So I'd recommend doing some experimentation and choosing the paper that is the best fit for your specific needs. Thanks for tuning in.